Today we're going to be talking about creating customizable product templates, just the basics, using the iPersonalize custom product platform from Gateway. There are two URLs for accessing the custom product Gateway platform. One is ACP. This is where you're actually creating your product templates, and that would be ipersonalize.gateway3d.com/ACP. The other would be Workflow Manager, and this is where you would be managing your print output, your actual print output, and order output and that sort of thing. If you're an e-commerce manager customer, a lot of that is done for you through the e-commerce manager and links you into some of this. The login screen for creating your product is at ipersonalize.gateway3d.com/ACP. Ordinarily, we set up your username as your email address. In general, it's recommended to use Chrome or Firefox rather than IE. When you first log on to the system, the first screen you will see will be the Product Manager screen. So let's talk about the images you need to create your product templates. Initially, you're going to need to create two 800 by 800 pixel images. One is the product image and the other is the mask. These images must be in PNG format. It is recommended that they be 300 dpi. You can use the internal artwork editor tool to create these images, or you can use an external image editor of your choice. Just whatever you're most comfortable using. For the purpose of today's demo, we're going to show you the internal artwork editor so you'll know how it works. Over to the left-hand side, when you log in, you will see some menu items. And one of those is the artwork editor. If you click on that, you'll see the Pixlr artwork editor. And we're going to open an image from the computer. And we're going to upload the iPhone 5S full wrap PNG. You'll notice that's got a transparent background. That's usually easier to work with than one that has some other kind of background. This image is not square, so we need for it to be square, so we're going to first change the canvas size to make it square without resizing the image. So we choose image at the top, we choose canvas size, and then we make certain that the width is equal to the height using whichever dimension is the largest, and click that center anchor square to center the image on the canvas. Next, we're going to resize the image by selecting Image Size from the top menu. And we're going to set that image to 800 by 800, obviously constraining the proportions. And finally, we're just going to save that, doing a file save from that top menu. Ordinarily, we'll just append something to the end of this to indicate that this is our image, whether you want to put the word image at the back of it or 800 or something else to denote that this is the image file that you have created for ACP, and then click on OK. With this image still up, we're going to move on to creating the image mask. So in that layers dialog box, we're going to click the little page icon next to the trash icon in order to create a new layer. We're going to select that original image layer, and then we're going to go over to the left and select that wand tool. Click that wand tool in the center of the area where we want to make editable by people, and we can even adjust the tolerance as we want, because we want those dotted lines to go around any areas that are non-customizable, like camera holes or whatever. Once we've got that the way we want it, we go over and select the blank layer over to the right in our layer dialog. And then we go back over to the left to our toolbox again and select the paint bucket tool. We're then going to move that over and fill in that area we had indicated with the wand tool. And we're going to fill that in as our mask area. And now we're going to click our original image layer in the dialog again and select our trash icon so that all that will be left is that mask that we just created. Now we're going to go and click File, Save, and we're going to save that. Again, you'll want to name that in a way that you know what the original product was, as well as the fact that this is the mask. So typically I would just put the word mask at the end of that. And then you will click on OK to save. When it comes to creating product templates, you can create a product by either copying an existing product or by creating a new product entirely. To create a new product, you must first navigate to the category where that product will reside. You have read-only access to a number of categories so that you can review those products or copy them. You only have write access to your own product category structure under whatever your company category name is. So we're going to click on the category search icon to view the categories. And then we're going to go and navigate to your personal company category, whatever that might be. And then when you find that, you will click the checkbox right next to it, and you will get to your category. To create a new 2D product, you will go and at the top right drop down, you will select Create 2D Product. And the first screen that comes up when you do that is this basic detail screen. The first thing you're going to do is put in a name. The product ID for this in ACP is shown at the top right. That is automatically generated. So in this SKU field, you should ordinarily put whatever you want your own product ID to be. That you may have your own set of product IDs to help with your inventory or whatever, so that you'll want to put those there. And then the supplier, that should ordinarily be your company unless you're having this product supplied by somebody else. Don't forget to save before you're moving on to the next step. After you save that, you're going to go create your 2D views from the left menu. Give your new view a name like phone back or whatever. And then you're going to go and you're going to upload that image file and mask file you created earlier. You're going to click on Choose File and go out and pull in that image file. And then you're going to go to Mask, and you're going to choose File and upload that mask file. Some products, like a t-shirt, may have more than one view, like front and back, for example, and you would have to have created an image and mask for each. When you've got those uploaded for this view that you're adding, you'll click on Add. You'll see those up there, and you'll click on Save. Once you've created your view, you can now go and work on your print area. You can also have multiple print areas, but right now we're going to work on one print area. We're going to create new, and you would give that a name. You'll see that there's a place there, that 2D view that we just created is phone back. That's automatically filled in because that's the only view out there. So now you're going to go down the third line below that, and you'll see a place where you have print width in millimeters and print height in millimeters. This is the output print width and height. So you will need to fill that in for your product, whatever that a width and a height is for that print area. When you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is set the area for that image area and the mask area. Those two lines above, those print dimensions are for those. And you can use your mouse to resize the edit area and the mask area so they fit and match. The X and Y coordinates, width and height between the image and mask ordinarily will be the same. The aspect ratio should be as close as possible to the same for print, mask, and image. That aspect ratio is automatically generated based on what you input over to the right. Sometimes it's difficult with your mouse to get things exactly right, so you can just go type in the width and height for your mask width and your image width and all that sort of thing when you're trying to tweak that number to get it as close as possible. Click Save when you're done. Make a note of the X and Y position and the width and height of your image and mask before you continue. In this case, we're looking at 212, 22, 428, and 757. And then we'll move on to the image area from the left menu. Again, you can have multiple image areas. We're going to create a new image area by clicking on New. In this case, I'm going to make this the background image, so I want it to take up that full position that we had there for the mask. So I'm putting in 212, 22, 428, and 757, just like we did before. Ordinarily, if you've only got one surface, it's going to automatically pick the right one, but you may find yourself wanting to select that to indicate what surface, if you have multiple views, what surface this is going to be on. That's really all you absolutely have to do here. So again, you can use the texture preview area to move that around if you want it to be a different area, and then click on Save. Again, you can have multiple areas. An example of when you might do this is, say you want to have a background, and then in the foreground you want to have a shape where you have them put in a monogram initials or something like that. That's one of the indications where you could have multiple image areas. Again, if you have a pocket or a sleeve, those kinds of things are also areas where you might want to have image areas. We're going to click on Text areas next. You don't have to have a text areas on your product. You can have multiple text areas if you wish. So we're going to click on New, and you give your text area a name. It needs to be a name that makes sense. If you're going to have multiple lines, you might want to call it line 1, line 2, line 3, or you could call it text 1, text 2, text 3, or if you only going to have one text area, you can just call it text if you wish, or line 1 if you wish. Here, again, we're going to set an X position and Y position as to where that text is going to appear, and we're going to choose the default font size. And you click Save when you're finished with that top area. Under Text Boundary, you can go in and limit your text to a constrained area if you wish. An example when you might want to do that is with monogramming, where you want to limit it. You can limit it via X and Y coordinates, width and height, etc. And if you use that, you'll click Save when you are finished with that area. You also have the option to select which fonts are available for a particular product. The number of fonts selected does affect load time, so don't go too crazy. but there are a number that are pre-selected, so you don't actually have to go through this step. But if you do, you'll click Save when you get finished picking those. There is a texture preview area on this as well. You can move that text to where you want it to be on the screen, but be aware that that's not 100% accurate. Anytime when you're in the process of working with your product template, you can go back to the basic details screen and test the product customization. You can go down to the print test area, click the plus sign next to print test, and then click on the start test button to get started. The caution I have here is that load time can take a while sometimes, so I prefer to use a test URL outside of this tool so that I can just click over to another tab whenever I want to test what I've been doing and see if it looks the way that I thought it was going to look. The next thing you can do is, if you're going to have a text area or areas on your customization tool for your customers, you can go in and set different font sizes and font colors. The font sizes here are the ones that will appear in the drop-down box when people are choosing their text or modifying their text on the screen. They can obviously, just drag and make that text bigger or smaller with their mouse. This doesn't impact that at all. With their mouse, they can make it bigger or smaller than those items that are in the drop down. You just choose those. Over to the right, those are the colors that you can do. Those are just some colors that we did in this example product. The color needs to be an RGB hex. So you can put as many colors as you want here. What some people will do, they will do this all for one product, and then they will copy that product and then just change everything else, so they don't have to redo these colors, because that can be a time-consuming process to copy all those in there every time. You'll click Save when you're finished. There is something also called color areas for your product. If you want to change the color of the product in the customization app, you can go to color areas to set up the colors. You click on New to create a new color area, or just edit the existing one. And then we're going to click on Add Additional Colors. And you'll go and choose the colors that you want to be available out there. Click the Save button at the bottom. And then you can come in here and you can modify those names and those hex codes as you wish. It's just a faster way to do those. And then you can click Save. Again, if you're using e-commerce manager, this doesn't work well right now. Our callback URL is not posting those colors back properly to the cart. So we advise, if you're an e-commerce manager customer, not to use this particular feature, because we're having problems with them getting it back to the Magento cart at this time. The minimum product template steps that we have, just to reiterate: first, you navigate to the category and you select your 2D product from the drop-down. On the basic detail screen, you're going to fill out the name, SKU, and the supplier. On 2D views, at a minimum, you need to create one view with a name, product image upload, and mask image upload. For print areas, for each view you create, you need to create a print area, and you enter the output dimensions in millimeters, and then adjust the image and mask areas with the same X and Y coordinates, and with an aspect ratio as close as possible to the output aspect ratio. For each print area, you can create as many image areas as you wish. Each image area must have a name, an associated print area, X and Y coordinates, and height and width. Again, for text areas, for each print area you can have multiple text areas. Each text area must have a name, an X and Y coordinates, and a default text size in points. If you're using e-commerce manager, the The thumbnail image that's displayed in ACP will not impact the thumbnail image displayed in your store. If you're using a different e-commerce platform, the thumbnail image may not matter. If you're doing an export from ACP and an import to your e-commerce platform, it may matter. Otherwise, it probably won't. You'll probably be inputting your own thumbnail image. If you use a kiosk application or product selector layout that directly accesses ACP, the thumbnail image will make a difference. Thumbnail images don't have to be PNG or 300 dpi, but we would still recommend 800 by 800. Thumbnails are added under that basic detail screen and assets. These are examples of products where a thumbnail has been added to show a decorated product rather than a blank product. If you click that little icon with the wrench on it, you can edit that and go in here, and again you click the plus sign next to assets and you choose file, and then you can upload an image, PNG or JPEG, and then save. I usually do JPEG just because they tend to take up less space than a PNG file.
Another way to create new product templates is to copy existing product templates to your company category. Once the product has been copied, you can modify it however you wish. To copy a product, navigate to the category where the product is located or do a product search. Click the plus sign next to each product you wish to copy. Select the drop-down box at the top next to With Selected and choose the Duplicate, not the copy action, the Duplicate action. Then you're going to select your product category where you want it to be copied. To verify that it was copied correctly, navigate to your product category, and then you can modify the products as desired. Again, to duplicate a product, you can navigate to a category, or you can just type in a name of something, for example, t-shirt, if you will, to see some of the products that are out there. You're going to click the plus sign next to the items that you want to copy. Then you're going to choose With Selected, Duplicate. And then you're going to choose where you want to duplicate those items. Say, for example, whatever your company category would be. What you can do is then go to Category, go to the category where you just copied the items, and then you can modify them as desired. One of the things you're probably going to want to do right off the bat is change the supplier to yourself or to one of your suppliers. And then you may decide that you want to change the views or the print areas or the image areas or the text areas or any number of different things. But once you have it over in your category, you can do whatever you want to with it. You can also duplicate products by clicking the duplicate link in the duplicate column. That only really works for you if you're in your own category. If you do it when you're in someone else's category, it will give you an error because that category, you're not allowed to write to that particular category.
I mentioned earlier using test URLs to help test out the product templates as you create them. The couple that are used most often are shown here. The add to cart in these links doesn't work because in this string I presented here, that cart callback URL isn't included in the parameters because obviously I don't have the information for your particular cart. Some things you need to know about that URL you see up there is the L is for the layout ID. You see here we have ACP2, which is the most commonly used layout, and then we have the mobile layout, which is obviously for mobile devices. And there are a number of other layouts available, and for a cost, custom layouts can be created, but these are just to get you started testing. P is for product ID. That's that ID that's automatically created and shown up in the top right when you create your product, and it's also shown next to your product out there in the product manager. In some layouts, this needs to be preceded by the pound sign instead of the ampersand sign, so that's very important to remember. You'll notice that here it's shown with a pound sign. G is for gallery IDs, which we didn't go into today. GUID is for the company ID, your company code, and this is very important because that tells who is actually producing the item, and it's also a place where you can look at Print Manager and see that output when people customize products on your site. C is for configuration code. Some of these layouts have various configuration codes that are available. PC is for product category, and this is for a layout with a product selector that we don't have shown here, but this is for future reference. And R is for render. This is unnecessary if you're only doing 2D products, but if you're trying to do both 2D and 3D products, you could set this to multi. If you're only doing 3D, it would be R equal 3D, but mostly people either do 2D products or 2 and 3D products together. This setting is not supported for all available layouts. It is for these two test layouts that I've given you. So we'll let you get started with this information and get back to us if you have any questions. We will be creating additional training videos, and we hope these will be of help to you. Thank you.